On this Wednesday night, the list of Ontario's highest paid public servants is out.
What we're concerned about is making sure that taxpayers are getting value for money.
More Ontario public workers are making the Sunshine List than ever before. Critics wonder if recent patronage appointments will inflate it even more next year. Plus, Premier Doug Ford is hit with a $5 million defamation lawsuit filed by ex-OPP Deputy Brad Blair. And
you're literally eating outside in the elements. It could be snowing outside and you don't feel it in here.
They call it dinner with a view. Fine dining in a dome under the Gardiner. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. We have seen a spike in traffic to our website today. People searching Ontario's latest Sunshine List, the annual breakdown of the top earners for 2018. With more names on it than ever before, the PCs are promising to cut costs for taxpayers. But as Lisa Shing tells us, critics say government patronage appointments may be adding to the list.
Unlike the stacks of paper in previous years in the name of cost-cutting and going green, this year's Sunshine List was only released online.
We're taking a look at everything.
This list mostly reflects salaries under the Liberal government, so the PCs did not have to defend the salaries of the province's highest earners paid by taxpayers.
Between 2017 and 2018, we saw a 14% increase in those earning more than $100,000 a year.
That's almost 20,000 more employees. The Treasury Board president points out his government has frozen public sector wages.
We made a commitment to the people of Ontario, and we're going to continue to look at every piece of compensation.
In 2018, the top 10 highest earners were all men, and there were no people of color. Topping the list is the outgoing CEO of Ontario Power Generation, Jeffrey Lyash, who made $1.7 million, followed by Darren Smith, who manages the University of Toronto's money. He made $900,000. And Ontario Power Generation's nuclear president, Glenn Yeager, earned $0.96 million.
I think we need to hold our breath for next year when we see Mr. Ford's gravy train roll into the station.
It's pretty rich to make that criticism when your first hire is exactly the area that you're criticizing.
The Premier has been under fire for a series of patronage appointments, including Ruben Devlin, named Special Advisor to the Premier on Healthcare, making about $350,000 in a position that did not exist before. The new EQAO chair, Cameron Montgomery, who ran for the PCs in Orleans in the last election and lost, is making $140,000 a year. And Jenny Byrne, who was Ford's principal secretary, was appointed to the Ontario Energy Board, making about $200,000.
What we're concerned about is making sure that taxpayers are getting value for money.
Ford himself made $112K. His chief of staff, Dean French, made $153,000. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
And some familiar faces in our city being included on the Sunshine List, including Mayor John Tory, who made more than $192,000 last year. Not as much as Toronto's Auditor General, though. Beverly Romeo Beeler made about $223,000. Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders made about $344,000, while Fire Chief Matthew Pegg's salary last year was approximately $256,000. And you can browse the Sunshine List for yourself, sort by department or Crown Corporation, even search Sunshine Lists going back all the way to 1996. Just head to cbc.ca/Toronto. And Premier Ford is facing a new defamation lawsuit tonight. It is from Brad Blair, the former OPP Deputy Commissioner who took on Ford over the Ron Taverner appointment. Now, the allegation is that the Premier maliciously ruined Blair's reputation in what the suit calls a deliberate act of reprisal. For that, he is seeking $5 million in damages. Blair had asked Ontario's Ombudsman to investigate Taverner's appointment and released internal OPP documents. Blair was then fired by the province. Ford publicly said Blair was acting in his own interests because he wanted to lead the OPP, adding Blair violated the Police Services Act by going public. A spokesperson for Ford says the Premier will respond to the suit in court. Taverner eventually withdrew his name for the job. Oh, we are hearing from the homeowner who found Wah Zhen Lu shaken and pleading for help on the side of a road last night in Gravenhurst. Now, we are not naming the man because he is concerned for his safety.
And I went out and found this young lad in distress at the side of the road and telling me that he had been kidnapped and could I call the police, which I did immediately. He didn't know where he was. He couldn't see because he didn't have his glasses. He was, part of his hoodie was all taped up in tuck tape. Oh, I had a rip in his jeans and a good cut on his one knee, and he was quite rattled. Very, understandably so. He was very, very shook up, and I calmed him down to the point where I could get him into the house and we could get the police over to my place.
The 22-year-old international student was violently abducted from an underground parking garage in Markham on Saturday. It's believed Lou was dropped off from a vehicle on Doe Lake Road near Highway 11 in Gravenhurst shortly before 9 o'clock last night. Town is about 200 kilometers from where Lou was kidnapped. Police are now searching for 4 suspects. Let's hear with the first look at the weather forecast. We're going to need to trade in the sunglasses for a potential umbrella the next few days.
Yes, we are. You know, we've been spoiled here for a few days with all that sunshine. Beautiful day today. High pressure still hanging in there for us, but it is moving off towards the east. And as it does, we'll see clear skies continuing for the first part of the overnight, but then we'll get into some cloud cover really thickening up towards morning, and then tomorrow morning showers beginning to develop. They should be pretty light in nature and somewhat scattered as well, but as Mike says, I would still have that umbrella handy. I'm going to have mine handy. And then through the day on Thursday, as we get into the afternoon, the chances of showers diminishes, but the clouds really stick with us, and southwesterly winds are going to be breezy, so some of those wind gusts are going to be over 40 kilometers an hour. It's going to help with the temperature, keeping it mild through tomorrow. Into Friday, another ridge of high pressure moves in, but this next one's going to be a little bit short-lived, so there's something to talk about for the weekend, and I'll do that just a little later in the show. That's called a tease. That's to bring you back. But overnight tonight, 1 degree with those showers tomorrow morning, and then less of a chance in the afternoon, and the high going up to 9 degrees, so still a mild day for us tomorrow, Mike.
But I want to know what's going to happen on the weekend. Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
We're going to build subways around the GTA, around Toronto.
Why is the Premier meddling with long-established transit plans, and why is he determined to delay and destroy transit plans that are already approved and underway in Toronto?
Sampling there from the debate at Queen's Park today around the province's stated goal of wanting to take over Toronto's subway system. We're learning more details about that plan. As we told you last night, not only is the Doug Ford government talking about speeding up the takeover, it also wants major changes to things like the Scarborough subway extension and the downtown relief line. Farah Morali has more.
You've heard it in the news.
They've also introduced the concept of uploading the subway system.
You've seen the protests.
Keep transit public! Keep transit public!
But what does a subway upload really mean? It seems very few actually know.
What subway upload?
The subway upload, like the province taking control of it?
No, I have not heard about that.
What do you mean by that? The subway pretty much every single day, right?
Here's what we do know about what the upload means so far. The province wants to put a lot of money into subway improvements, but with that, it wants control too. But what does that mean for riders? Well, that depends on what your commute looks like. According to a Ford government official, it wants to make big changes to 4 projects. The first is a Scarborough subway extension. As it stands now, the plan is to extend the line from Kennedy Station to Scarborough Town Centre. But the Ontario government wants 3 stops at Lawrence and Kennedy, Scarborough Town Centre, and McCowan and Shepherd. For the downtown relief line, the plan now is to run from Osgoode to Line 2 at Pape Station. What the province wants is to have this line be freestanding. They're hinting at using a different technology for this line, meaning the trains couldn't continue onto Line 2. Then there's the Eglinton West LRT. Right now, what's being proposed is a 10-stop extension of the Eglinton Crosstown that runs from Mount Dennis west to Pearson Airport, running overground. The province wants to put parts of the line underground. And finally, there's the Yonge North line. The plan now is to have it extend from Finch Station up to Richmond Hill Centre. Right now, it's not a priority. But the province wants to speed this up and have it built at the same time as the downtown relief line. There's no mention in these letters of the waterfront LRT, the Eglinton East LRT, or even Smart Track, so we don't yet know where those stand when it comes to priorities for this government. There's also no mention of costs or how much the modifications to these projects will cost down the line. A Ford government official told CBC News we can expect updates on that soon, but likely not before the upcoming budget. Farah Morelli, CBC News, Toronto.
There's a new pop-up restaurant that is promising to give a dining experience like no other. Called Dinner with a View, diners are served their meal inside clear domes underneath the Gardiner Expressway. Intrigued? Look, Yoon has a sneak peek.
Under the Gardiner tonight, inside these igloo-shaped clear domes, 3-course meals are being served. Steve Georgiev is one of the event organizers.
Who came up with this idea to have it here under the Gardiner in these domes?
So one of the unique things about this experience is being able to move locations. This is a very trendy, unique location. It has a beautiful view of the city skyline. And it's the first time that we're introducing the dinner to Toronto. And we hope everybody's going to have a fantastic experience. And who knows where next year will be. It might be here, it might be somewhere else.
Georgiev tested the dome dining experience in Ottawa last year. Each dome can seat 4 to 6 people.
And we want them to be able to experience something very intimate. And we wanted to give them a different look on things. So when we talked about interior design, we wanted a way to embrace the outside.
Let's go check one out.
Love to.
Wow. So these are all insulated.
Yes.
This idea of having a dome like this was in England, they had done this.
Yeah, there's a permanent installation of a dome restaurant in England.
That's where the inspiration for this came from. And dining in another dome just a few steps away, some familiar faces from the Weather Network.
Well, as somebody who's a weather fan, how much more perfect can you get? You're literally eating outside in the elements. It could be snowing outside and you don't feel it in here.
And it's kind of like an early taste of summer dining, right? Except we're protected by this dome.
Or futuristic living on another planet, like how very outer worldly.
Yes.
And we haven't even gotten to the food. The chef is Rene Rodriguez, winner of Top Chef Canada.
It's a Canadian-inspired menu, so we have pickerel from Lake Ontario, we have beef from Alberta. So it's very, very Canadian-driven, more than anything, yeah.
And this pop-up experience opens to the general public tomorrow. It runs until May 2nd. Every night, Wednesday to Sunday, there will be 3 sittings, and demand has been so high that they are thinking of adding even more dates. Kelda Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
But is there a late night sitting? Well, rebate rejected. Some electric vehicle owners say they were denied a $14,000 rebate because they weren't on a government-approved list that they and some dealers had no idea existed. After the break, more on this mystery list and the real reason why this woman thinks she didn't get approved. People who may have bought electric cars in recent years may have banked on getting a big rebate for going green. But the woman we're about to introduce you to was just denied that money. She says it's because of eligibility requirements she didn't know about. And as Chris Glover found out, neither did the dealer who sold her the vehicle.
Janet Stevens loves her electric car, but with its $43,000 final bill, she only bought it last year because she was eligible for a $14,000 rebate. Then this month, she was denied.
What did you think?
I was sick to my stomach. It wasn't the answer we were expecting.
In July 2018, shortly after winning the election, the PCs scrapped the Liberals' rebate but promised a grace period. To qualify, Stevens' car had to be on a dealer's lot by July 11th and plated in her driveway by September 10th. When Stevens was denied, she found out about another condition.
If a private business behaved this way, they'd be finished. Should we not be able to, expect that from our government?
Turns out her dealership was supposed to add her car to a government list of eligible vehicles.
Where's this mystery list that nobody made public so we could make sure we were on it?
It's been a mystery trying to put it all together, and I still don't have all the pieces.
Brian Hoyt is the general manager at another dealership. Both he and Stevens' dealer tell CBC Toronto they were unaware of the list until after customers were denied.
I feel like the dealership and our customers were put in a position to find themselves denied unfairly.
On July 11, 2018, the Ministry of Transportation sent this letter advising dealers had until July 16th to get eligible vehicles on a government list.
A notice gets sent out by courier on a Wednesday in the middle of July in peak summer months with a requirement to get a list back by the 16th on the Monday. That leaves all of 3 maybe business days.
Plus, even if Hoyt and other dealers got the letter and could respond in time, he says look at the wording around the list. He and other dealers CBC spoke to assumed that referred to this government list of eligible makes and models.
The language gets significantly tighter, and we still have questions about when exactly that was communicated, how it was communicated, and when that part was tidied up.
In a statement, the Ministry of Transportation wrote the July 11th letter was emailed to dealers registered in the Grants Ontario program and manufacturers and associations who were expected to inform their dealerships.
The communication just wasn't clear enough, direct enough to be enforced the way it's being enforced.
It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with the rebate. We entered into a contract with the government and our dealer. Two parties we're supposed to trust, and we're in this position now due to a miscommunication between those 2 parties and through no fault of our own.
Even though she loves her electric car, she says the $14,000 hole she was not expecting makes her feel like she was thrown under the car. Chris Glover, CBC News, Oakville.
Well, Fairview Mall is about to undergo a $100 million renovation, and it's about more than just shopping. More on the plan to bring more condos and a hotel to the area, coming up after the break.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
The history of Fairview Mall stretches back about 5 decades, but its owners are looking to the future tonight. A revamping of the mall at Shepherd and the 404 will cost tens of millions of dollars, but that is just the beginning. As Greg Ross shows us, the new plans go far beyond just a makeover.
The mall of today is a lot different from how you built malls 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Finley McEwen is the Senior Vice President of Development for Cadillac Fairview. He says in order to stay relevant, malls have to offer much more than just shopping.
People want lifestyle, they want interesting or urban streetscapes and a better pedestrian environment.
And that's what they're in the early stages of trying to create at CF Fairview Mall, starting with the now vacant space that used to house Sears.
We'll be completely gutting the interior of the store. We'll be introducing new malls and common areas, new best-in-class retailers.
Part of the renovation will also include creating a row of new restaurants with more outdoor pedestrian space, rooftop patios, and a vibrant nightlife. That's just the beginning of what they hope will be a complete overhaul of the traditional concept of a mall.
The future phases will include other uses like residential, office, hotel.
He says they're applying to the city to rezone the property. Instead of a place where people drive to go shopping, they want it to be a place that locals can walk to and spend the day.
They definitely do need some type of innovation.
People who live in the area say it's about time.
Of course, it's a good idea for the neighborhood, for the business, for the economy, for everything.
You think that would make you want to come here more often?
Yeah, sure, that would.
I think it's a necessity on a number of fronts.
This urban planner says in addition to keeping up with the changing retail landscape, malls have to adapt to the needs of a dense population that continues to grow.
Toronto is the city in the middle of the fastest growing urban region in all of North America, and it is seeing far more intensive reimagination, retrofitting of the urban fabric than any other city in North America.
It's going to be several more years before this project is complete. The first phase should start to take effect in the next 18 months. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto. The Leafs in Philadelphia tonight. They're down by 1 in the third period. That's when Austin Matthews, watches, takes a rebound, and then rips it upstairs. That ties the game. That's his 70th point of the season. That actually sends the game into overtime. Former Leaf James Van Riemsdyk takes it to the net. It goes over the goal line, but the referee had already blown the whistle. Close call. This leads to a shootout. Fourth round, John Tavares had the chance to win it, but watch as he loses control. Doesn't even get a shot at it. Next up, Sean Couturier, who slides it past Anderson. That would prove to be the game winner. Flyers take it 5-4 in the shootout.
Cullen is back now with her extended forecast. It's the Blue Jays home opener tomorrow. I imagine the dome's going to be closed.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closed. Now, it is a 3:37 start, I think, for this game. And temperatures will be a bit on the mild side, but just because of the time of the year, it's not that mild, but also the risk of the showers. And we'll get into that in a little more detail again. But just showing you unofficially today's high temperature rounded up to about 8 degrees. So a little bit above seasonal, just a beautiful day because of all that sunshine, and the lows were kind of close to where we should be for this time of year. Overnight tonight, clouds on the increase. We'll be seeing showers somewhat scattered but developing through tomorrow, especially in the morning hours, and then in the afternoon moving off, but the clouds hang in there for a little while after that. So because of that risk of even still seeing some stray showers in the afternoon, that's why that dome's probably going to be closed for you. And then into Friday, ridge of high pressure builds in. It will start to push the clouds out again. We'll get some sunshine coming back, but it doesn't last that long. It's more so in the morning or the start of the day. Then in the afternoon, clouds come back due to this system and this moisture to the south of us. The temperature will be falling off, and it's going to get interesting. So overnight Friday into Saturday, could see a bit of a mix coming even along the shoreline, that possibility, and rain further south, snow to the north of us. Light stuff, but still some snow coming in. That's into Saturday morning, and then through the day Saturday, mostly it will be a rain event. The temperature for the GTA coming up above freezing, but we could see 15 or 20 millimeters of rainfall from this before it moves out Saturday night. And then things will be quieter Sunday, but it's going to leave behind some colder air in place. Overnight tonight, your mild lows for southwestern Ontario. Eventually, those showers developing. Highs mild tomorrow, too, with those southwesterly winds breezy through here, but keeping the cloud cover and even still a chance for some scattered precipitation. Overnight tonight, staying above freezing around the GTA, even though we're losing some of those clear skies. We're going to inherit that cloud cover, and that kind of helps to keep in some of the heat. But it's not only that, it's the southwesterly flow that's going to help with those temperatures, and that's why those highs soaring. We'll say soaring. It's a few degrees above seasonal. Again, into Thursday. Breezy. Friday, our break, and then Friday night into Saturday, that next system moving in with that mix, and then rain showers, and you see how the temperature is coming down. So a little bit cooler for that second half of the weekend, Mike.
All right. Thanks a lot, Colette.
No problem.
You may notice things are a little busier around the dome tomorrow. That's because the Jays are kicking off their season, and they're going to have a new face at the helm.
We're going to compete every day. We're going to give it all we can, and you're going to see them. You're going to see guys running the bases hard, you know, and that's what you're going to see. That's all we can control, and that's what we're going to do.
New manager Charlie Montoyo sounding confident and upbeat, talking to the media today. And the players were getting in some practice time before tomorrow's opener. The Jays kick off their 43rd season against the Detroit Tigers. Just 16 hours until baseball is back, and still apparently lots of seats available at the Rogers Centre. That's our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Good night.